Yes, it's true. Feedback is a gift, but giving raw and unfiltered feedback can sometimes be a little bit tricky. Let's talk about that more after the theme song. So the big question is this: how do we ambitious professionals avoid the slow-moving career, take control of our time, and get paid for two things? Doing what excites us and making an impact bigger than anyone ever thought was possible. That is the question, and this podcast has the answers. My name is Candace Spears, and welcome to Ambition, Honey, and Hustle. There is a song that I love that always gives me an amazing amount of energy. It's a song by Sarah Bareilles. It goes a little bit like, say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. I love that song. I don't know how many of you have ever heard that song. I apologize for my current rendition of the song. It's pretty early in the morning, but even hearing that, it always amps me up to just kind of let it out. You have something to say it. You have some words to give to a person, say it, or a group, just say it. And I've always admired people who just could say, no matter how the words might be received, they were able to just let it out. You think about people like Simon Cowell, right? So who notoriously on American Idol was always seen as the boo. He's the one that had this feedback that really everybody might have wanted to say, but they were too scared of other people's feelings and things like that. Or Chef Ramsay, I think that's his name, Chef Gordon Ramsay, who always is just laying it on the line when it comes to these restaurant owners or these chefs. Like, you're not good. You need to go back to the drawing board. That is an amazing skill to me. And for some people, it just comes naturally. And for others, it doesn't. And I think about a couple years ago, when I was promoted to the management team at my day job, I remember I had never been so intentional until that moment about building up the skill of just saying what you want to say. And I remember trying to figure out, okay, this is something that I'm going to need. How am I going to build it? How am I going to build it? That type of thing. And I'll tell you the one thing that is helpful. So living with a spouse who is very good at just saying what needs to be said has helped me a bit over time. But I wanted to get even more intentional. So I started looking at different books that were out there. And one of the books I came across was called Radical Candor by Kim Scott. And it was like how to be a kick-ass boss and say what you have to say or something along those lines. But that book was called Radical Candor. The other one was called Fierce Conversations. And that one was by Susan Scott. Now, I don't think that the two are related. They just happen to both have the same last name, Scott. And anyhow, I went into just sort of learning mode, and then I started practicing it. You know, I had the opportunity from a management perspective. First off, whether in a management role or not, every day we have the opportunity, whether it's talking to your kids, talking to your spouse, talking to a coworker, talking to someone that you've just met, talking to someone who's asking for your advice or your feedback, whatever it is, to lay a path and a course of honest and direct communication. So we all have those opportunities. And like I said, for some people, it just comes naturally. But when it's a skill that needs to be learned and practiced, it's important that you find those opportunities and be very purposeful in using them. So anyhow, as I went through those books and sort of educated myself, I found lots of opportunities, and not only for my direct reports, of course, whether it was feedback after a meeting or feedback during review time, but it was working as well I noticed even when I would go out places, like to a restaurant, and I wasn't really happy with my service during the meal or with my food, and I found myself, saying, okay, this is an opportunity. Don't say the meal was just fine when it really wasn't. Here's your opportunity to give them the feedback, and just practice it and practice it and practice it. So I will leave this with you. I encourage you to say what you want to say. And let me say this before I close. One of the things that did help me is to think about when I've had people who have been direct and honest with me, what did it feel like for me getting that feedback? And a lot of times, getting it initially was kind of like, oh, well, that's harsh. Okay, let me take a second and process that. But I do remember that always I was thankful and grateful because it allowed me to refine myself or improve myself, right? Someone had given me essentially a gift. And the saying goes, and it really is true, that feedback is a gift. So when you can allow yourself to have that direct communication, think about it also as giving a gift to someone that, trust me, they likely will appreciate. Maybe not in the moment, but as time goes, because you've given them an opportunity to either change course or, take a new action, refine themselves, whatever. So I encourage you today to practice a path of direct communication, because you'll need it, whether the employer path, community path, running your business, whatever it is, you'll need to practice having direct communication, and that direct communication and feedback is a gift. So that's all for today. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful evening whenever you're listening. And guess what? I will talk to you again very soon. Thanks for listening. If you haven't already, subscribe, share, follow, leave us a review, whatever other cool thing you could do it to this podcast so we can make sure that we stay connected. And I look forward to talking to you again very soon.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.